Going to talk about Uncle Elon again.
I love it with the space stuff.
Yeah.
Elon's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Like everything, it seems. He's
My-
a good executive manager.
My never-ending campaign to get noticed and picked as ship's poet for the Mars mission. Starship did the first landing with the Mechazilla. Play the VT, run VT, Samson. So Starship, the sound, the pure power. Actually, they call it Mechazilla, don't they? The stanchion crane thing catching it.
The mechanic
perfect.
Godzilla.
I mean, can we just briefly talk about how this doesn't look real, right?
Yeah, play the other two clips while we're talking, Samson.
Yeah, so this, like...
Yeah, it's almost unbelievable to the eye, isn't it?
In the era of AI, I mean, it's not just that. It's the way the thing is designed as well.
Coming in fast as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've heard that about the shuttle. It comes in fast.
Yeah, but it's only got like one rocket at the bottom, which makes it look like it's just flip over or something, right? It doesn't look like it should be able to do this. And so when it's coming down very controlled, to actually be grabbed by this crane thing, I mean, genuinely spectacular feat of engineering.
Just to say, and I am doing a Fedora tip here about it. It's more like 36 rockets under it.
Oh, I don't know.
But still, I know what you're saying.
It doesn't have like side rockets or anything to balance it.
There are little ones, but nonetheless, I mean, it doesn't quite look real, does it?
No, it's just an incredible feat of human engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the more impressive things we've ever done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just turn the sound off on that so we can talk over it. But it's just that level of precision. And again, just look at it. There are so many things that could go wrong with this, right? So many things have to line up perfectly in order to make this happen. It could all just, fly out of control. Things blow up, and that's it. Okay, that's hundreds of billions of dollars down the drain, and this was a boondoggle. This didn't work. But instead, that happened, and the response wasn't exactly spectacular from the powers that be, was it?
Oh, well, yeah, among other things. I mean, most normal people, most reasonable people, just look at something like that and think, wow, what an incredible feat.
Yeah, because that is.
So here's just one thing before we go on to it, just one other bit of Elon news at the moment, that he tweeted something a bit spicy.
About the fact that no one's trying to kill Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
I mean,
just an observation.
But if you were ill-intentioned, you could read it as being an implicative statement.
I suppose you could.
And the thing is, I don't think Elon was looking at it that way at all. I think he was bringing his kind of autistic analysis to it and be like, well, you can tell who's the threat to the system by who's getting the assassination attempts. And he was completely correct in the chat with Tucker Carlson about it. I mean, Kamala Harris is just a puppet. Obviously true.
It just is an observation, although a spicy one.
Yeah.
But apparently the Secret Service are wanted everyone to not only that they are aware, but want everyone to know that they're aware. Again, it's just one more little dig at Elon for sort of daring to say something, right? But okay, if we move on, so just talk about how he's under attack from all different angles
for political reasons.
Political reasons, and people in California, various bureaucrats in California have been, I think, fairly open that it's just for political reasons. So, I was going to say, she's not just going to say something.
No.
All right, yeah, no. So Elon with Starlink, they launch all sorts of stuff, more of the Falcon stuff, sort of all the time. Elon is launching things into low Earth orbit kind of all the time, or SpaceX rather, not Elon personally. Lighting the fuse. And so in California, because the big one's in Texas, isn't it? The big spaceport, and there's obviously Cape Canaveral in Florida. Is it Cape Kennedy or Cape Canaveral? They've changed it a few times. Anyway, people in the chat are going mad. And also launch stuff from California. And they're just trying to thwart him on multiple fronts.
I think there's a reason, and symbolically, Elon Musk in the woke mind, in the Democrat mind, is like, have you watched the movie Don't Look Up on Netflix? Yeah, they had the equivalent of his character, a billionaire who walks into the White House, talks to Meryl Streep, who was the president, allegedly being an allegory for Trump. and saying that, I'm going to be the billionaire who's going to assist you with a comet that's coming to destroy Earth. And all his mechanics were just malfunctioned and the world was destroyed.
Right.
Yeah, that seems to be working, though.
Right.
That's why they hate it.
So just a quick thing. Did Biden or Kamala congratulate Elon on this great success?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
They might well have done, but not that I saw.
Yeah, you'd think it would be front and center on their Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
Like this incredible achievement of American engineering.
Yeah.
How our country is advancing the frontiers of human knowledge and capabilities.
They don't want to increase his reach on Twitter.
No, they don't. They don't want to give him kudos. No, unironically, I think
That's impossible, though. He's like got 200 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't want people thinking well of him.
Right.
That's the problem, and it's political.
Anyone other than the most staunch Democrats are going to be at most indifferent, if not just a fan. Right? How is it?
Well, what's not impressive about what he's doing here?
Yeah. Just while we're talking,
to be clear as well, when we say Elon, we mean Elon at the apex of a giant institution and team who have all made this happen. Obviously, Elon's not designing the specifications of it.
More like the visionary and the.
Yeah, he's the executive.
Another thing to add to just expand on my Elon sycophancy is I'd like to express sycophancy towards the entire SpaceX team.
Oh yeah,
everyone that works there, brilliant stuff. I wish I was younger and much more brilliant, and I could join you in that journey. I really wish I could, but it's not going to happen for me now. So Samson, just while we're talking, if you just click through the various links, because they're all sort of the same, based on the same sort of headlines. Oh, well, actually, one thing we was going to say, one angle we was going to take is that Elon is something like a great man of history, probably will go down in the books for decades, perhaps even a few centuries to come, as someone worthy of note in the early 21st century. Yeah. Certainly. Like
seems that way. And
someone like John D. Rockefeller type figure, that even 100 years later, people will know the name and stuff.
Yeah, I'm personally quite a fan of the great man of history, Thomas Carlyle's great man of history theory, because it seems to actually hold a lot of weight. The Whig view of history is that history is a kind of inevitable upwards progress, which obviously isn't true. And Carlyle had a kind of cyclical view. So things get better and then things decline and then things get better and things decline. And the great man makes things happen based on his own executive power and ability and capacity. And this is, I think, pretty borne out rather than against the Whig view, in that the fact that the great man is often struggling against forces that don't want change, and he makes the change anyway. And in fact, a lot of the time, it's everyone is against the great man, and yet he ends up winning in the end. So Julius Caesar is a great example of this. But I mean, like almost any great conqueror in history is against some titanic forces, and Elon Musk is against the entire deep state and American establishment. He's against it all. Same with Trump. And they seem to be accomplishing in the face of it. And no one's going to remember Kamala Harris in 100 years.
Right.
But they may well remember Elon Musk. And so, I'm much more drawn to this as a theory with explanatory power than, things just happen, bro. It's like, no, you can see the amount of effort and willpower and competency that it's requiring to get over these hurdles. These aren't things that just happen on their own. No, this is a product of a particular small cabal of people led in a particular way against various forces to which they overcome. And so I think that's just far more sensible a view. It seems to be true.
So we thought we'd do a very quick shill from my show behind the paywall of epochs, where we talk about great men a fair few times. There's
talk about them a lot.
Caesar, Augustus, Nelson, the Duke of Wellington, Arthur Wellesley, Frederick the Great, a classic example of where it's the whole world against him, basically. I said in the office earlier, like a game of Risk, when everyone realises one person's going to win in the next turn, so everyone just piles on them. Frederick the Great's a classic example. But like Napoleon...
You see this with the endorsements of Kamala at the moment. Everyone, like the media, the deep state, all the Democrats, loads of business owners, loads of actors, celebrities, they're all lining up to oppose the paradigm that Elon is trying to usher in here. And the question of whether he's a great man or not is whether he wins.
Right. And you become the great man by overcoming everyone else.
Yes.
It's everyone versus you, and you still win.
Yes.
That way, maybe you can carve a great man spot for yourself in history. Yeah, I think you're right. You talked about Carlyle. Also, there's just the Marxist view of history, where great men don't really matter. It's all about trends, economic trends,
Historical
class forces, all sorts of things like that. Dan Carlin put it well, and I just completely agree. It's both.
Yeah.
It's just both.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. I mean, a good example of this is Alexander the Great. If Alexander the Great didn't inherit Philip of Macedon's army, there's no Alexander conquering Persia. Like Philip's army, for anyone who doesn't know, was Alexander's dad, and he spent his life building up an amazing military machine. And if that wasn't in place for Alexander to inherit when he was like 19, he's not invading the Persian Empire, right? He's not going to invade the Persian Empire with a ragtag bunch of people and overthrow it. It's so there is a kind of material base upon which the great man's will must operate. It's definitely both.
I think Bo though has a point that it's both.
Yeah, I'm making the point.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that.
I agree.
Because there are people who will just come and say, well, had it not been for Philip, Alexander wouldn't be what he made. So he owed all of it to Philip. I think he had an individual input.
Yeah, well, that's the point. It's still the will of Alexander to invade Persia, but he did require a certain level of material position.
History is absolutely littered with examples of where there's been a great man that moved history, made a world of difference, changed all of subsequent history because one man made a particular decision. It was born out of just his mind. A couple of examples spring to mind is Clive of India just before the Battle of Plassey. Everyone said, don't go in there, it's 8-1, maybe 20-1. That's crazy. And he ummed and ahed, thought about it for a moment, for a while, and then said, no, we're doing it.
Yeah, we can do this.
And all of history, certainly for the subcontinent, is different due to that. One example of Napoleon in Spain, when he decided at one point he was sort of called back to Central Europe, Germany, to fight. He was in Spain at the time. And it's a great image in my mind anyway. He sort of takes himself off alone for a while, pondering whether he should stay in Spain or not, and decided not to. He'll leave it to his brother and his marshals, and he'll go off to Germany. A lot of history could have been very, very different on just that one decision. But as I say, history is absolutely littered with it. Caesar deciding that he is going to, in fact, cross the Rubicon. Right, there's sort of endless examples.
Again, in the face of all of the incentives not to do so, right? It wasn't a necessary choice for Caesar to cross the Rubicon, for Alexander to invade Persia. He actually didn't have to do that, and his life probably would have been a lot easier and longer had he not. He would have just been like the emperor of Greece, basically. Had a big kingdom in Greece. He would have been rich, he would have been powerful, but he decided, no, I'm going to go for it.
Hannibal deciding he's going to cross the Alps with elephants in winter.
Yeah, there's nothing necessary about that.
And then not besiege Rome after Cannae. It goes on and on and on. Like when an individual man, usually a man, makes a decision and, okay.
And Elon's in the same point. There's nothing necessary about getting this thing to dock in the holder or whatever it is.
Necazilla.
But that's not an inevitability. That's a lot of work to make that come together. And again, in the face of the government basically persecuting him. It's okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah. He did say in that fairly recent interview with Tucker that he does fear that if Kamala wins and the Democrats win, they'll try and sort of leverage everything they possibly can against him to ruin him in the court of public opinion, if nothing else. But no, they'll go for, I'm sure they will probably go for the jugular, do anything they can to sort of ruin him. Because, as I mentioned, the Starlink thing, it's sort of a constant stream of rockets. So they're just trying to, and there's other allegations that he's in bed with the Russians in some sort of nefarious way.
And again, it's just deeply political for these people. And what I love about this as well, this is a great headline. California bureaucrats slap down the Air Force and SpaceX over politics. Yeah, I bet they do, right? Because not only does Elon not share their politics, when Elon took over Twitter, what did he do? He fired 2/3 of the bureaucrats working there, and nothing changed. And that is a terrible thing to watch if you're a bureaucrat who basically does busy work, who occupies a point and moves around spreadsheets and emails. Oh yeah, Elon Musk, if Donald Trump wins and Elon Musk does get put in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency, I'm getting fired. And I saw someone on Twitter the other day going like, Elon's just going to get in there and fire middle-class people for sport. And I was like, good. I hope he live streams it. I'll pay per view that, okay? I want to watch Elon firing civil servants all day, every day, cackling while he does it. Get a job.
I've worked for some very big companies before, giant ones where the whole building is that company.
Yeah.
And there's loads of waste.
Yeah.
I've worked in teams where there's like 12 people and like 3 people are doing 95% of the work.
Yeah.
I've been one of those
Pareto
people that's
distribution,
not doing the work even.
Yeah.
I've been one of those people.
Yeah.
You're sort of watching the clock for most of the day. It's just the way it is in a big organisation. And not only did Twitter not collapse after he did that, it got better, didn't
Well,
it?
it's actually like, because Twitter was losing billions every year, and so Elon has sort of leveled it off now.
Yeah.
So it's good.
How are we going to be productive without having 9 hours of meetings every 8-hour day?
Yeah. So if you click through just the next few, sort of the same sort of thing. The thing that I think was surprising from these Californian politicians, state level politicians, is that they were just said, it's because of his politics.
Yeah.
Not even trying to make up some
Just openly say it.
some nonsense.
There's no mask.
Yeah.
That's gone completely. No, we hate him because he isn't woke. If Elon was woke, and back before he was like overtly political, he was a bit of a darling of theirs. He's always producing electric cars. Well, why wouldn't we be thrilled with Elon Musk? If you think about like 10 years back, he was not left wing, but like he wasn't overtly political, and so he was not a threat to their moral order, right? He was just going, we could save the planet. That's a good thing. And then now he's full on Trump because they're full on insane leftists. So
I think it would be amazing if Trump wins and Elon is in government.
oh, that'd be great.
That would be. I would very much like to see that.
How's the Starmer regime going to take it?
Yeah. So even in Britain, there's sort of the lefty,
Bureaucratic.
let's be honest, communist traitor class that hate Trump. Hate Trump, but hate Elon just as much. And actually, Trevor Phillips gave this guy a bit of a.
Should we watch it?
Let's watch it. Yeah.
Why didn't you invite Elon Musk? You're desperate to get a company which sacks its employees by Zoom, but you're stiffy about the biggest car maker in the world because he put something on social media you didn't like.
Look, I'm not going to comment on particular invitations for particular personnel.
Come on,
but
Elon Musk is not some odd invitation. It is Elon Musk, biggest car maker in the world, richest man in the world. Why didn't you invite him?
look, I'm not going to comment on the reasons for any specific person, but I can tell you we have 300 of the most significant investors, business figures, people who can bring significant amounts of capital to the UK. Big names, things that will make a big difference to working people's lives, and that's the criteria.
You're happy to talk to me about DP World, who sacks their workers. You're happy to invite the Saudis, who authorise the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and they get the red carpet. Why isn't Musk being invited?
Well,
This is you in opposition, isn't it, again?
No, not at all. This is about who can bring the kind of investments that will make the biggest difference to the UK, to working people's lives.
Richest man in the world, don't worry about him.
I think in 100 days.
Musk hasn't got a bob or two that he could put in a car into Britain.
Well, look, the criteria and the selection, this is a summit. I know that everyone wants to come. I do understand that. Not everyone can come, and I'm not going to... I think it would be right to go through the individual decisions for individual people, but this is about what will make the biggest difference.
Look, you understand how weird this sounds? You want people to come and invest in Britain. You want people to bring their money. Yet the one person who probably has got more money to burn and would probably like to invest in Britain, in fact, he says so publicly when he didn't get the invitation, you're deciding he's not good enough. For what reason?
No, look, if people have an investment proposition for the UK,
Just not answering the
I will
question.
talk to them.
He's got nothing.
Just not answering the question.
That's disgraceful, and I deeply disrespect it as a stance, because you don't like him because you think he was not helping the situation after the Southport riots. Just come out and say it.
Yeah.
Just come out and say it. Just,
At least be like the California Democrats.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Own it.
Just California bureaucrat the situation and just say, we don't like the guy.
Yeah.
He's too right-wing for us, we're left-wing.
He
we
might
don't...
fire me.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like
He's not. He has to do the squirmy politician.
worthless.
Say we don't like him. Just say it. Own it.
Yeah, worthless, squirmy bureaucrat is like, look, Musk represents a completely different paradigm to management to me. He wants to get things done. I want to just burn taxpayer money. That's what it is. Just say it. Just say it. Everyone knows that that's the case. You would get fired by Elon Musk if he were in charge. That's what you're saying. And you feel that he's a threat to you. We know. Everyone can see it. It's okay. Which is not, but
Yeah.
Everyone can see it, and you shouldn't be where you are because you're a nobody who's got no experience or talents. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
We get it. You feel threatened by that.
Let's go to the next couple of links then. So even The Hill noticed that perhaps the left side of the aisle are being a tad unreasonable. Liberals are losing their mind over Elon Musk.
True.
Yeah, they have lost their mind a while ago.
Yeah. It's just the same thing with Trump. Is when they say, I'm not a part of your sort of woke managerial paradigm, then they're like, okay, well, now this is just the new Hitler. This is the enemy. We have to intransigently oppose him at every turn, no matter what he actually manages to achieve. Doesn't matter. We disagree.
And even Newsweek, that's a bit more unhinged. But I don't think it says, for anyone's just listening, how Joe Biden drove Elon Musk into the arms of Donald Trump. Well, not really, though, because
I think
what I mean is, what I was going to say was, my angle or my take on that was just going to be that Elon Musk was never Joe Biden's guy, though.
Well, no, but
he never was stood on the stump for Biden, did he?
No, but he was never like a Republican. He was never like, oh, I'm hardcore Republican. They being a bunch of weird cultist lefty freaks were like, Elon Musk, unless you agree to everything, like including transing children and opening borders and things like that, then you're out of the club. And Elon was like, okay, I'm out of the club. You guys are evil. I was like, okay, well, there we go. So I guess they did drive him to Donald Trump, but
I also think, having said that, to add to your point and to contradict what I just said, I think there was, back before 2016 or in and around that time, I think Elon and Trump had crossed swords a bit, one or two crosswords with each other. Not much, but just not necessarily completely on the same page.
Yeah.
But anyway, one last thing, I suppose, just a tiny little video I thought we could watch as just one final sort of homage to SpaceX. And you don't turn the volume down, or just that.
How many failures they've had?
Yeah, not just Elon himself, but the whole SpaceX thing.
See, this
that
is what I'm talking about.
You don't give in.
Like, look how unlikely it is that any of this came about. It's like, no, success is just the final step of failure.
If you scroll up ever so slightly, I think even the quote on it is, I'll never give up. And that's
yet success that hasn't come yet.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's a great life lesson. Perhaps one of the most important life lessons of all is you're almost certainly going to fail loads of times before you succeed at most things, nearly anything. Yeah. Certainly anything that's hard.
Yeah. Anything that's worth doing.
And also, quite often, when you try and do something that's very, very hard, you're almost certainly going to fall on your arse, attempting multiple times. Yeah. And when there's no guarantee that you're ever going to be successful, you keep going anyway. Yeah. You've got to keep going anyway. And I think SpaceX is not just SpaceX, but a lot of things Elon has done, but particularly SpaceX. It came close to having to just stop in the early days, because you can't endlessly fail.
No. Yeah.
At some point, you have to be realistic. At some point, even Elon's money will run out. And so it came close. It was touch and go for a while, I think, in the early days of SpaceX. But they kept going. And now it seems they're going from success to success. He's built a great team there. There's some of the best.
Mars during Trump's second term.
Some of the best. But yeah. I think. Well, the Artemis 3, we are supposed to land on the moon next year. I think they're going to do a manned mission around the moon this year, very soon, like an Apollo 8, Apollo 9 type thing, and then actually put boots back on the moon next year. I think that's the idea. Realistically, it might be the year after or the year after, but not that long away. Yeah. So we'll see. I've got my fingers crossed for all SpaceX endeavours myself.
Yeah. So just to go through some comments. OPH UK says, Musk is currently Tony Stark, His Majesty's most loyal opposition and Trump's spare running mate all at the same time. Yeah, that's true. He occupies all of these positions.
His Majesty's opposition?
Yeah.
He sort of is.
Yeah. Well, other side of the Labour Party is treating him like, again, any of these sort of strong personalities with lots of charisma, the left just looks at them and goes, oh God, that guy's evil. It's like, okay. The shadow ban says the main reason they hate Elon is because he's enabling free speech. Yeah, that's one of them. That's definitely one of them. Not even that he supports Trump. It's the idea that alternative frameworks can be shared besides the ruling formula scares the regime. Yeah, they do definitely agree that that's like the inception point of the ruination of their own project. When people are allowed to spread counter ideas, which is why every leftist regime becomes heavily censorious. It's evidently.
And let's be honest, YouTube and X, or Twitter, are the dominant platforms. Like, kind of absolutely.
For political discourse.
So it's not like Elon just bought Gab or something.
Yeah. And
it's the biggest one. That's why they hate him so much.
The last Russian makes a good point, though. Musk couldn't build here. Failing infrastructure, brain drain, expensive energy, expensive property, endless legal impediments, and an activist leftist judiciary. A ruling class that actively hates him. Yeah, and what I think that business secretary, one of the things that they've avoided by not inviting Elon Musk is the giant embarrassment of Elon Musk pointing all of this out. Your tax is too high. You know, you've got too few skills. Why is everything so expensive? Why would I want to do this here? You know, what possible actual incentive do I have to invest in Britain? And the Labour Party would be like, well, no, we're not going to change it. So
You built a spaceport in Cornwall.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want a Cornish spaceport.
Yeah, oh God, I'm not.
You know,
I'm not saying dismantle the Cornish spaceport. It's just
there's no incentive for him to do it. But maybe if taxes were lower and immigration was lower and targeted to specific skill sets, maybe, then all of these things would be different. But the Labour Party will change nothing.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. And if you want to see what else we're up to, you can follow Dan's series, Brokenomics. This one talking about nuclear power. And if you want to see all the other stuff we're up to, you can always follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.